Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Whole Lotta Podcast. This is your host, Ebenezer Ojo.
Hope Adebayo.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into a new episode. We love and appreciate you. Let's jump right into it.
Let's just do it, man.
The LA riots, bro.
Yeah, what's going on in LA?
So right now we have the ICE raids. So Trump has said that he wants to crack down on the raids that are going on. He wants to get the immigrants out, deport.
You're not playing, bro.
And so what they're doing is that now they were trying to focus on the criminals. Now they're actually trying to get all the illegals out. So what they're doing is now they're going to places like Home Depot. They're going to
why they going to Home Depot?
You know why they going to Home Depot. The day workers, the people that work for a day, that hang out at Home Depot, get a job for the day. Yep, they're going around Home Depot. They're going around all those places, and they're just like grabbing people and like deporting them and detaining them right then and there. Once they started doing that, that sparked a protest that was peaceful. And in the peaceful protest, you know how it goes. Once there's a peaceful protest, the rioters are about to come out to play, bro. I feel like there's rioters that just wait. They wait for a big enough protest. Okay, bet, let's go.
Stupid.
Yep. So now it's going pretty crazy. The governor Gavin Newsom, Trump as no Gavin Newscum. That comes from Gavin Newscum. Trump has already called for him to go to jail or something like that, saying that he doesn't deserve to be governor. He needs to apologize to the LA people. And what has made it more like volatile is that usually the governor is supposed to be the one to decide, like, oh, this riot is getting too much, let me get the National Guard involved.
No.
But Trump went over his head. Yep, Trump went over Gavin Newsom's head and got the Marines, got the National Guard
They're saying just transportation alone and feeding these people.
Who, the National Guard?
Yeah, the National Guard, the Marines, is going to cost them about $200 million.
And another thing that's happening this weekend.
$200 million.
And another thing that's happening this weekend is Trump is doing like his war parade, where they're basically going to do a parade in Washington, D.C. with like the U.S. tanks, like basically what North Korea does, which is basically like, oh, look at all these tanks, look at all these guns we have. And that's what they're doing. And that's also going to cost, another millions of dollars. You know, it almost like they should create a company called Doge to help, from all this bad spending. That would be crazy if they had.
Fired the guy.
It would be crazy if they had a department to help with overspending, huh?
They fired the guy, man.
It's ridiculous. So what's your take? You said you had a take about the riots. Why didn't you like the riots?
Okay, I don't know much. I'm not in LA, and I understand. Here we go again.
Bro, LA was just burning. Now it's burning again. The forest fires, bro.
LA stayed burning. Bro, in LA and how open they are, they stayed burning.
I'm just like, y'all just had the LA fire. And that was still this year, wasn't it?
Nah, last year.
Was that last year?
Summer-ish,
oh, okay. I think. I'm like, y'all just had the LA fires now. The riots is like, bro, yes, LA is always burning, bro. But what's your take?
Yeah, burning from head to toe, but.
What's your take?
Take is.
You're against the riots, you're with it. What's your take?
I don't have a problem with peaceful riots. I don't care, bro. I'm not.
Peaceful protest.
I'm not over there. I'm not going to be in the front lines beating you, bro. Like, bro, I'm not going to steal nothing. It's beyond me, bro. But what I am going to say is, I don't know how I feel about, there's this, I don't know if it's propaganda or if it's just logic.
About what?
There has been a couple people making statements saying it just doesn't make any sense that immigrants, Mexican immigrants who are illegal, are going to these riots or these parade or whatever you call them. What are they called?
Protests. Yeah.
And they're waving the Mexican flag. So people are like, this is confusing.
Mexican immigrants or the people who are
people like
illegals.
Let's say illegals.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
People who are illegal are going to the protest and they're waving the Mexican flag.
Okay.
And people have been saying that makes no sense.
Because you're wanting to be in America.
You are choosing to be in America. You're here illegally, but you're waving the flag of the country you're trying so hard to leave.
Get away from.
Yeah.
So, I see that. I see the.
So like I'm kind of like in between because I've seen like 2-3 people and it's damn near verbatim, word for word. So I don't know who's paying these people
to say the same thing every time,
or like who pays Simone Biles to talk about. Buddy folk, like
Simone Biles said something.
Well,
Oh, this is old.
no. So this is off topic, but the transgender swimmer at Penn State, I believe.
Yeah, that's old news.
That's old news.
Yeah.
But look, the girl that like lost to him or like lost to him, he.
Yeah, we're still learning.
But yeah, sure.
What about it?
She's like a big advocate now for like transgender rights or whatnot. Or like
really?
For transgender.
Simone Biles is?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
the girl who like is a big advocate saying like, man, this dude should not be participating.
Yeah.
And it's like it's been in like news stations and whatnot. Simone Biles randomly the other day was like, honestly, you're just a sore loser. Maybe you should just be better. And you.
Oh, really?
And people are mad.
Whoa, she said that recently?
She said that recently.
Oh,
like
no.
this week. So I think I could be wrong though, but people are saying
to me, you should let people do what they want to do. But listen, you should let people do what they want to do with their bodies, with their minds.
100%.
You should let people do what they want to do. Right?
100%.
When it comes to sports, to me, I don't even think this issue is even worth discussing.
How is it worth discussing?
I think there's so many bigger issues, even for the people who are like gay rights activists. I think there's so, like, you guys have way bigger fish to fry than sports. I don't think sports is usually men. Big issue. And it's usually men. So that's the thing. I'm like, but just think about it though. All of these awards set by these women are if they continue this rhetoric, are going to be demolished by the transgender females, because they're just going to switch to a different sport, right? I mean, not just because they want to, but let's say they do identify as
males are better female athletes.
That's what it's going to come down to. But that's why I'm like, I think that's where
a crazy sentence to say.
That's where I think the line should be drawn, because then
I think the line should be drawn a lot further back.
No, I think that's where the line should be drawn, because I think for sports it just doesn't make sense, because men are just genetically better at sports than women. That's why you have
hormones to reduce the testosterone.
I know, but even there has to be like I don't even know what it is but even with the reduced testosterone, I seen the Penn State swimmer, just the shoulders, the broad shoulders, see, you can't go from muscle atrophy to muscle, what's the difference from atrophy? Like deficiency or whatever, right? Just from taking hormones. I feel like it probably takes a lot longer of a process for that to happen. So I feel like when it comes to sports, I feel like that should be a no-touch area.
Clip it, bro. It shouldn't even be up to.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes down to that, it shouldn't be that.
And there's a guy on the court. I don't care if it's an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old. I'm going out there. Come.
Nah,
bro. Why I would never allow my daughter to.
I think for professional sports, I think that's a muddy area that I don't think should be crossed. I don't think that line should be crossed, just because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because that just means that a lot of these records set by women are now just going to be overtaken by men, and that's just not nice. Then I feel like that's the thing too, is like that conversation should be had at a certain point when it comes to and I don't think a lot of people want to touch on it because it's so sensitive. On the national, like the NCAA, I don't think has ever said anything. I don't think Olympics has ever said anything. I don't think NBA, NFL, I don't think anybody's really said anything. The professional teams don't talk about it.
They don't need to, because no man. Oh shit.
Well, you never know.
Well, because it's rarely ever girls. No girl is gonna turn into a man and say
they want to do a male. Well, they wouldn't be able to dominate in a. And that's the thing that I feel like
get balls to the face.
I feel like that's the thing both sides need to understand, is that there is a reason why it's mainly men switching to women's sports and dominating, and you don't see it where it's women switching to male sports and dominating. You don't see that happening.
They know better.
Right? And because we don't see that happening, I think it's clear to us to say that, okay, there was clearly, you're genetically predisposed to be better at this because you were born a male. So I think that discussion should be had, and I don't think sports should be a place where we can really fudge that line. But once again, I don't think this topic is that important. There's so many other topics to really discuss, even for people who want, rights and everything like that. I don't think that topic is like the number one to fight for.
Yeah.
But even, I digress, because that's not even about the LA riots. But with the LA riots, what I don't understand is this, right? You talked about the Hispanic flags, the waving the Hispanic flags and things like that when you want to be in America. Totally understand, right? Because now you're like saying something different from the country that you're choosing to be a part of. But I think part of that is not just because they're waving it because, oh, right, go Mexico. No, they're raising it because like, oh, I am a Mexican American, right? That, you never hear those things being saying, oh, I'm an American Mexican. No, it's I'm Mexican American.
But then what
I'm
makes
African
you American? What then makes you American?
What makes you America is that you reside in America, and that's what makes you American, right? So for those people to be like
who lives in America
is an American and who wants to stay in America is American. I mean, regardless of like your paperwork and all that stuff, if you want to be regarded as an American, what makes you an American? I'm not Italian because I'm not in Italy. I'm not like if I go to Italy and start living in Italy and do what the Italy people do, the Italians do. Okay, now you can. I'm African in Italy, but it's not like that's not what I'm doing.
But like even if I went to Italy for 5 years, would I ever call myself an Italian?
But that's you. That's a self-identification. You have to do that. They call themselves Mexican Americans. We call ourselves African Americans. I mean, people want to put us into a box like, oh, what are you there? But it's basically what you call yourself that matters.
Okay.
Right? So when it comes to these riots and stuff like that, I want to understand the logic, right? Let's go back to the beginning of this year where Trump was talking about, okay, we want to do government efficiency. We want to take away the criminals and stuff like that. Great. Right? Let's have government efficiency. So now you've spent millions of dollars on a department for government efficiency that Elon was ahead of. Now Elon is no longer there, right?
They beefing.
And now they're beefing. Of course, we'll get to that. And now, right, now you want to press hard. First of all, we want to deport the illegals, the murderers, the rapists, all those things. That's what they wanted to do, right?
Exactly.
But now look at this. How much did you say you saw that it cost for them to feed those troops and stuff?
Well, just for
millions. Let's just say millions.
200 million.
Let's just say millions,
but
right?
That's not from a rep.
Of course, but let's just say millions, right? Yeah. Guess how many people they detained during those LA detainees? 118. Yeah. So you're telling me you're going to go through all that work? It costs $17,000 to deport somebody. That's how much it cost. So from here in the U.S., paperwork, flying, meals to get them back to where they're from, it costs the American $17,000 to do that. Right? Now you spent millions of dollars sending troops down to L.A. You spent another millions of dollars feeding them, equipping them with the rubber bullets to shoot reporters. Right? You have done those things. You've just wasted millions of dollars. And guess what you got out of it? You deported 118. Do you think that's a valid use of resources? Do you think that's really effective? You've already shown that those methods are not effective. And what is it going to do on top of that? Now there's vandalism. R.I.P. Waymo. All the 5 Waymo cars that were getting destroyed.
Why?
I'm just like, yo, and this is the thing, right?
At some point, Waymo better be knocking at the government door talking about, hey, yo,
bro, I'm saying, like, the government is making plans that don't make sense. They're making plans to initiate war, to show authority, to show, oh, we're the big boss. But it's not even efficient. You guys talk about government efficiency and you're not even efficient in the deporting. Their deporting is reckless. It's putting people in danger. Thank God there were no fatalities of cops or people or pedestrians. But I'm just like, what is the point? And the whole reporter thing, you see a reporter from Australia reporting on this issue. You can clearly tell she's not a rioter. She's not a protester. She has a camera and a microphone and she's facing away from the police officers. A police officer literally aims his gun at her and shoots her. For what reason? Right? And then you're saying, oh, they're behaving irrationally. They're doing the recklessly. Bro, they throwing these rocks at you not just because they want to throw rocks. Because y'all bringing that energy. When you bring that type of energy to somebody that's already ready to crash out, they're finna crash. Bro, if you go to Aaron the plumber walking up on him, talking about, oh, this, that, you think Aaron's just gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, but
he's gonna say, I absolutely have to take this fade.
I agree with you, but they're bringing the Marines.
Bro, and they're wasting their money because you deported 118 people.
But look, this is what I'm saying though. You talked about the people being the crash out. Mm-hmm. These Marines.
Yeah.
people are gonna die.
Well, thank God there have been no fatalities. But that's what I'm saying. You're bringing somebody who has spent their lives learning how to kill and fight people to fight Joe Schmo from Menards. How does that even make sense? Now you're just wasting resources, and do you really think the Marines want to be there?
No,
they don't.
That's why I'm telling you it's gonna get dangerous, because there was a video talking about the type of Marines the government is bringing are already pissed off Marines.
Exactly, they don't want to be there.
Their living conditions are dookie. They've been at this place for a long time. This specific platoon, it's just like they have, and their location is just horrendous.
Yep.
And it's like it's raining all day, every day at their
Trump
location.
was saying that if they spit, we hit.
I'm hitting somebody if they spit at me, though.
You're literally covered in a face guard.
I'm punching somebody if they spit at me.
And you think so? So when you've punched somebody, so what have you resolved? Are you keeping the peace? Because the thing is keeping the peace.
Ebenezer, you
Haktua.
And I just gotta sit there. Listen. Your face. That's spit. That spit that came out.
You gotta catch that fade.
Reverse. It'll be blood going down. Nah, bro,
you gotta catch that fade respectfully.
On me. But I see what you're saying. Where it's like I see what you're saying. It's just the brute force is too much. But seeing some of the videos,
it's crazy. Throwing rocks from the bridge is crazy. But one thing I'm understanding is that the right is also trying to show some negative propaganda. I saw videos that were literally from January 6th insurrection, and they were talking about, oh, look at what LA is doing. Bro, somebody debunked it and said that's literally January 6th. So Trump is like, if they spit, we hit. January 6th, they was hitting. Y'all was not doing ish. You didn't have nothing for them. And you pardoned them. You pardoned the January 6th rioters. Those guys were doing way more. They defecated in the halls of government.
No, people died. Right?
People died, yes. People died during January 6th. And you pardon these people. You let them go. You gave them a government pardon. And these people who in LA who are fighting for the rights of those who don't have rights, protesting, you're going to try to kill those people for what?
This is where my line
doesn't make sense.
This is where my line draws, right?
It doesn't make sense.
I think if you're an illegal immigrant, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, finish, because I have something I want to say.
You shouldn't be in America. If you're as an illegal immigrant, so you're telling me we put illegal immigrant. This person's not just an immigrant; they're illegal immigrant.
Yeah,
that means you're illegally here. You shouldn't be here illegally.
Now look at this as well. Finish your thought.
So
I don't want to cut you.
I think that deporting people isn't wrong. I don't think that's wrong. I think how you do it can be truly wrong. Yeah, I think that.
You're spinning right now. I agree with you. 100%.
I think the way that it's been handled is truly wrong. But at the same time, we're just getting two sides of a coin. We can look back in the past 4 or 5 years, the Biden administration, one side didn't do jack nothing. So people got comfortable. People.
And I will say this: more people were deported during Obama's years than Trump or Biden's. Than ever. So continue what you're saying.
And he was putting them in dog cages.
Oh, they were doing the cages before it was even a topic. Back during the Obama's era, Obama deported more people than Trump ever has.
Trump has ever.
So that even tells you that the way that Trump is going about it is just inefficient. Even if you wanted to efficiently,
that is true. That's
it's just inefficient.
That's a good point.
If Trump is really about that smoke and getting people out of here, why are you going boots to the ground trying to drag people? What? That's just a waste of resources.
But then what you're saying is, and I could be wrong, is just do it quieter.
No,
deport people, because that's what
I'm saying is that let's do it with due process. No, even Obama got flack for what he was doing. Biden got flack.
You can't say look at what Obama did.
No, but I'm just saying that there was a lot of deportation at that time, right? And I'm not saying that it was good or bad, but I'm just saying there's a lot of deportation at that time. It got the job done. And you're trying to do the same thing here, but you're doing it in a violent way for no reason.
I see.
And on top of that too, right? You know Khaby Lame. Khaby Lame is the TikToker with the most followers on TikTok. He does this, that's his whole shtick, right? And he was here past his visa. amount, right? So he was past his visa amount, and then the what's it called? The ICE. They got to him.
Heck yeah.
They got to him.
You overstay your visit. Go home.
Want me to tell you something? I agree with you. You overstayed your visa, so they sent Captain Lane back to France.
Yeah, they did this.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Why are you running?
Why are you running? Yeah, they did this because look. That is nobody's fault but Khaby Lave's fault. So because look, why do we have you are already super famous. You have a team. No, he's rich. That's what I'm saying. You have a team of probably 20 people deep. You don't have one person to be like, oh, Khaby, your visa's about to expire. Ready. Let's go back.
Like a microwave. Ding.
Yeah, visa ready. Like literally. You don't have somebody I don't know what happened logistically for that issue to even arise, but the fact that the ICE was able to get on him right away.
They won't play no games.
No games. It's also Khaby's team. I don't really blame Khaby because he might not really know the ins and outs of it, but I also blame his team because now, if Khaby was not just here for vacation. Khaby was here, I'm sure, for business meetings, to meet with Pepsi, to meet with all these big companies for work, right? His team really dropped the ball because now that he's been deported, bro, getting him a visa back here again is going to be tough. And there's a lot of money-making opportunities here. His team really dropped the ball, bro. Whoever's in charge of his personal finances and stuff like that really tweaked. Because now for Khaby to come back and make that money that he's making, it's going to be tough.
Okay. So then why do people, because people can agree with you, right? People can agree with he overstayed his visit. How about the people who overstayed a visit they were never even given in the first place?
That's another point. See, I believe, even though the left won't admit it, I believe the left also doesn't want there to be an over influx of immigrants to the U.S. And you know why I know this already? Because look at what was happening in New York. New York was inviting so many refugees that kids couldn't even go to school anymore because they were using the schools as refugee camps.
For what?
And it came to the point where Mayor Eric Adams was getting so much backlash from the left and the right. Because they were like, what the heck? You're taking our kids out of schools for immigrants? Like, what's
buddy folk? I don't care that much about buddy folk.
And this is the issue, right? I think both sides on the left don't want to admit it, but I think they also don't want that many immigrants in here illegally. They just don't, and they don't want to admit it. But the thing about it is this. Trump loves immigrants. And let me tell you why. A lot of the cheap labor that he uses for his place in Mar-a-Lago, for his place here and there, is through immigrants. The immigrants here do a lot of jobs that Americans just won't do.
Yeah.
Right? So America doesn't function without immigrants, legal or illegal. America doesn't function without immigrants. It was to the point where there was another thing that was going on because Trump is just trying to attack everybody. And this is another reason why I didn't want this man elected, because I knew that his term wasn't going to be about making America better or making America great. It was going to be about revenge. And y'all try to lock me up, I'm finna fry everybody. Everybody getting cooked. That's what I knew his election, because he still talks about Biden. Bro, you won the election. Why are you still talking about Biden? You won already.
Fighting for his life. He got 6 months to live.
Bro got cancer. Bro is battling everything. Why are you still talking about Biden? You already won. Why are you still talking like there's still an election going on? You already won, right? That's how I knew that Trump wasn't fit for this presidency, because I knew that as soon as he got in, it was just going to be a revenge tour. Everybody going to jail. We frying everybody that tried to get me. That's what I knew. And that's what's even shown with the whole Doge. Now let's talk about Doge and, that's the one thing I was going to say. The other thing Trump is doing in terms of the Department of Education was that he was revoking a lot of immigrants' visas. Like students' visas. Anybody who had even posted anything that was pro-Palestine, or even not even that, just revoking a bunch of visas for no reason sometimes, right?
You got St. Thomas got it revoked.
Some people in not even St. Thomas, places like Harvard, places like, LSU, like those big places, Caltech, revoking these people visas. Guess what China's doing? China's literally saying, oh, if you had your visa revoked from the US, please come to China, we'll take you. Right? So it's like, you're literally going so hard against immigration, going so hard against people being here to the detriment of the country. You have people, the smarts of the smarts, wanting to come here to learn, to develop, to grow. That's literally how Elon Musk got here. Through those same type of programs, those same types of educational loopholes, was he was able to come here from South Africa to study, to grow. Elon Musk wouldn't be who he is without being an immigrant and coming here. And you want to cut the next type of new innovator, the next type of creator, the next type of person that might even cure some crazy diseases. You want to ship them to China, our competitor. So now you're playing, that's the thing, like his plans just they don't make sense and they're not effective. They're not effective. Even his voters should be angry because their plans are not effective. Yeah. All the Latinos for Trump and stuff like that, now they're going back and saying, oh, we didn't sign up for this. All the Latinos for Trump. I'm just like, what is going, like, yo.
How can you be so vocal saying
and this
Latino
is the thing.
for Trump and then go say.
And this is one reason I will always be like, yo, I respect Trump because everything he said, he's doing. Trump never lied. Trump has always said what he was going to do, and he's doing them. Y'all voted for that. And this is the repercussions of what we're getting. Now, let's talk about the girls that are fighting. Elon and Trump.
Oh, I said, what girls?
The girls are fighting, bro.
Oh, my gosh, bro.
It's a cat fight. It was to the point where Elon was talking about, first of all, let's talk about the departure. They're saying this man, Elon, allegedly, I'm not in the White House, I don't know. Both sides in the White House lie. Everybody in the White House when it was Biden era knew Biden couldn't put two sentences together. Still said Biden's a great guy, right? Allegedly, Elon Musk has been on some whatever, right? Because you saw during the farewell press conference, the man looked like he was rebooting. It looks like his Tesla was resetting. The man was tweaking.
What are they saying? He's on ketamine?
Yeah, they're saying he's allegedly on some drugs. Yeah, on ketamine allegedly. Right, and then he even came in with a black eye and said, "Oh, little X, I told little X to punch me as hard as he could, and he punched me in the face. That's why I have a black eye." Okay, if my niece tried to punch me as hard as he could, I would not have a black eye, bro. Come on, bro. Allegedly, there was like a kerfuffle going on because of the big beautiful bill that Trump is trying to run right now, and that big beautiful bill that Trump is trying to run right now is trying to cut things like Medicaid. It's already cut stuff to USDA that helps people in different countries for things that they're battling. Yeah. It's going to cut funding to his programs. Elon's EV programs and stuff are cut. It's going to... Bro, of course Elon is not going to be for this big, beautiful bill. Before he was talking about, I don't want to talk about it. Now he's openly talking about how he hates the bill, right? He even went on Twitter to say that, oh, Elon, the reason the Epstein flight list wasn't shown is because Trump is on that list. He deleted that tweet, by the way. He deleted that tweet.
He didn't have a choice.
I'm just like, yo, when I told you, and please look back at the other episodes I posted, I had told y'all this, that something was going to happen between Trump and Elon. I
feel like we're getting played, bro.
Elon was going to be the scapegoat. I'm sure if anything bad happens, like really bad during the Trump presidency, economically and stuff like that, he's going to blame Doge. He's going to blame Elon Musk and he's going to blame Doge.
Look, this is my thought, right?
It's unraveling, bro. The administration is unraveling.
Let's say they really beefing, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Could be fake beef.
Let's say they're really beefing. That's tough.
Bro, people say that they don't know if it's going to be real until he actually... We'll know it's real once Trump starts cutting some of his contracts. Some of his government contracts. Like if he cuts some of his SpaceX contracts, stuff like that, that's how we know this beef is real. This beef, honestly, I heard another take from a podcast that this beef could honestly be fabricated. It could be fabricated for people to be like, oh, Elon doesn't like Trump anymore. Now we don't have to set Teslas on fire anymore. We can start liking Tesla. We can start helping the stock. Bro, guess what? When he was sending out those series of tweets, the Tesla stock dipped crazy.
Bad, like almost 100.
If you would have had puts for that day Elon was going tweet crazy,
you would have made millions.
You would have made millions, bro. This man,
know what? It has been going up, back up ever since.
Of course it will.
That's the.
Go ahead.
You know, I think this is all planned.
It could be planned.
Because you telling me, man, you and Trump, it was inevitably going to happen that you guys just collide and this beef and this Twitter war. I think they did beef, but I think it got played over to the top so that it could plummet. People buy when it's low. When
then
it goes back up.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably like, guys, I'm going to tweet all these things. Get ready to buy. And then
I wonder if the shareholders put more money into the company during that span of time.
That would be a good thing to see. That'd be a good thing to see. Because Elon knows that he has the ability to sway the market based on his tweets, based on the way he moves. So they understand that. Both Trump and Elon understand that.
And they've done it well.
And that's why I don't understand the Speaker of the House or whatever, that one lady, when she talks, Caroline Leavitt or something like that.
I don't know who that is.
She's the one that talks, that we were talking about her before, where she basically, anytime there's an announcement, she makes the announcement. And she apparently she's 27. I had no idea she was 27. Young. Oh my goodness, she's very young, right? So she was talking about, Trump has never done anything to benefit himself. Everything he's doing is to benefit the country. Come on, bro. Why are you lying?
Do nothing to benefit this country,
bro.
Not benefit.
If you look at it, analysts who are paid to pocket watch, they have shown that Trump's profits have increased like 200% since he became president this year. Like 200%.
Shoot, my profits better increase by 200% if I'm the United States
president. Majority of it has been from the crypto stuff, the Trump crypto coins, because he is able to, bro. By the words of, he can make that stock go up or down any day he wants based on a tweet. You're telling this man is an authoritarian. This man is somebody who wants to self-benefit himself, right? This one, someone who wants to help his other rich friends. This is another thing the big, beautiful bill does that he's trying to get passed. It's going to create tax cuts for the wealthy. Those people who are making 6 figures and above, they're going to be getting like about $1,000 back in their tax returns. Like they're going to be spending $1,000 less in their tax returns. Guess who's going to be most affected? The people making $20,000 to $40,000 a year. Those people are actually going to have negative effects to their tax returns and things like that. That's also what's in the bill. So you're telling me you want to create a bill that's just going to benefit your friends, benefit the rich, and then cut the poor of the poor at the legs?
Damn near at the knees. Damn near the.
And now you also want to remove immigrants who make labor more accessible to other companies, to middle class people. Now if you remove these laborers, right, now we got to hire more expensive people. We hire these more expensive people. Guess where the product is going to be? More expensive. Now the customers are paying more money for the products. You already kind of shitted on everybody with the tariffs. Now it's just going to be even worse.
I get what you're saying with the whole thing with things are going to increase because these immigrants are. But isn't that wrong though? That these companies are paying cheap labor?
Because
then at the same time it's like you're paying. It's like the China sweat kid. Like why do we think it's bad for the people in China to have sweatshops? They're just paying the people $1 on an hour. And it's the same thing. We have our own sweatshops. It's just strawberry fields and
that's
whatnot.
True.
So it's like, why don't we think the same? Like, why is there a difference in how we think when we say Mexican immigrants versus a sweatshop in China?
You bring up a great moral point, and you're right. It's morally wrong. But I have one word for you: capitalism. You can't not live in a capitalistic society and not function that way.
So China's sweatshops aren't bad then?
They're morally,
economically
they're great. Morally, they're wrong. That's what I'm saying, right? These things have to happen because of capitalism. That's the way capitalism functions. Capitalism functions where wealth is not distributed evenly. Wealth is distributed amongst the haves and the have-nots. That's just the way it is, and that's how our economic system functions. So if you try to break that up, it's just going to make it more difficult for I don't even know, for things to function the way that. Even with the riots, even with Elon Musk and Trump going back to back, we don't know what the true initiative is. Because
we'll find out, though.
We'll find out. And the thing, what I've been seeing is that, Elon is just trying to, like we said a little bit earlier, like Elon is just trying to make his good graces with the people who ran away from him after he went so hard for Trump. And this could all just be a ploy. This could all just be a ploy to get people back into his good graces, maybe help the stock market a little bit. Because I know a lot of people, even like the shareholders, were calling for him to resign. Like a lot of them were calling for him to resign and things like that because it was affecting his company so badly. But
true.
That's what happens when you join politics. Like,
time will tell, man.
That's why so many people who are like, "Oh, you should do politics," will never do politics because the amount of hate. Like, what's his name? The guy from Barstool. He was talking about Dave Portnoy. He was talking about why he would never do politics because even though he gets a lot of internet hate, the amount of hate you get from being in politics is another level. It's another level of hate. And I saw something, I don't know how real or fake this is, but I saw something about Malia Obama dropping her last name.
Yeah.
Because I think she wants to make it on her own. I think that might be the reason.
Which is one, I think it's so dumb.
So dumb. Like for me,
I think that's white privilege in of itself. No. And I'm
to be like, you know what? My life is too easy. I need to change.
Yeah.
I need a challenge.
I'm not even talking about white privilege. I'm just talking about American privilege.
Well, wealth privilege. Like when you're, and I think, like I've said this multiple times on this podcast, like the issues that a lot of us are facing are not white versus black. They're not me versus you. They're not, Vikings versus Wisconsin. It's literally the disparity between the rich and the poor.
Yeah.
That's where the real issue lies. But the people, the powers that be, want you to be fighting with your neighbor, want you to think every immigrant is a murderer or X, Y, and Z, want you to think every immigrant is here for your job. Before it was, every immigrant is here for your job. Now it's there's no jobs. Now every immigrant is here to pillage and stuff like that, like we're in the 1700s, right? If you listen to all these big legacy media people or just media in general, a lot of it is placed to make you go against your neighbor. And you have to think about who was funding these people, who was giving these people money to make the lights stay on for this outlet, Fox, CNN. They're all one of the same. They're big oligarchs, people who have a lot of money, who pay these reporters and stuff to run these stories so that people like us are too busy fighting amongst ourselves when we should really be fighting the real people, which are the aristocracies, the rich people, the one percenters.
People who want to be, I just tweet. People who are so rich, their kids want to be so poor. But
that's crazy.
The kid who's poor wants to be so rich.
He wants to be so rich. And I understand the Malia Obama dropping her last name a little bit because I understand that you don't want to ever seem like, this was just given to you because you're Obama.
I don't care.
This was given.
But
look, people are going to say that even
regardless.
Let's say Malia Obama, because what she did recently is she directed one of these Nike ads, right? For I forget the name of it. Yeah, Asia Wilson. So she wants to be known as like, oh my gosh, Malia Obama did this and she didn't, put her last name in it. People are still gonna say that.
Yeah.
Regardless.
People still like her name was not, you don't just put Nike X Obama. What the heck?
Is that what they said? It didn't say that.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't matter if they said that or not. I still found out that she had a part in it.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like
Obama.
Why drop it? It don't matter. People are still gonna say. And one person that's really popping right now, who's a nepo baby, is Jack Quaid. He's in The Boys. I don't know if you watch The Boys. He's in The Boys. He's in a bunch of new movies. He's the son of the guy who did Indiana Jones and this other famous actress. Yeah. That's her son. And he basically just said that there was no reason for him to drop his name or to pretend or even to fake like his parents aren't rich and famous. It's like people are going to come for you regardless. Like, but you're either a good actor or you're not. You're going to get opportunities that other people aren't because your parents have connections, duh. But that's not gonna make anybody think you're less of a nepo baby.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Like if I have an opportunity for my kids to be in places of power because of my influence, of course I'm gonna do that. Of course.
Let me tell you something.
100%.
Oh my goodness. So so when I was at the wedding, my friend's wedding, so there's a bunch of African people there, right? And I'm staring into the abyss, and there's random like quiet time where there's nothing really going on. And this woman looks me in the eye, she's like,
why don't you get to me?
No, she's like, I know your mommy. I said, bruh. He said, which one are you? Are you home, faith, love? I said, bruh. So let's say I said, man, I'm a Minnesota nepo baby, right?
Yeah.
And I changed my last name. That's not gonna change how I
Your
look like.
We still know who you are.
Look just like
Wait,
Obama.
did your mom not go to that wedding?
Yeah, she did.
Oh,
My parents both did. No,
like
you look just like your daddy,
Exactly.
bro. Both of them.
But what I'm saying is
I
this,
don't want to
man.
feed into false propaganda.
But what I'm saying is this, like, just embrace who you are. There's nobody's really gonna stop you for
bro.
it.
No one cares.
Nobody
bro.
really cares that you're a nepo baby, unless you're bad. That's why people come for Bronny. But Bronny's not bad. He's just bad. He's just not
young.
excellent. He's young. People expect him to be excellent, but he's just not excellent. He's just young. That's just who he is.
Young kid, man.
That's what it is, man. And we talked about this last time, the people who got away from jail. So let's do a little update on that.
Yeah.
So they found, it was 11 of them. They found 9 of them.
Yeah. There's
2
left.
are still at large.
But they say one of them was posted on live.
Yes.
One of them
so
was
there's one that got a bunch of face tattoos, just looked like he belonged in jail. This dude was like what we're doing right now. Set up his camera, went on live, and was asking for help from celebrities like Cardi B, bro. What is Cardi B finna do?
Cardi B feeling hurt or something with Diggs, bruh. She ain't worried about you.
Bro, Cardi B too busy on a yacht with Stephon Diggs with some pink stuff. Why would she be worried about some inmate from New Orleans who shot? And then he was asking Trump for a pardon. Why would Trump give you a pardon? You're a criminal on the run.
Well, Trump gives pardons to criminals.
I'm saying, maybe if you were at January 6th,
bro, this is
he missed it.
Yeah, he missed his chance.
He missed his chance. If you were at January 6th, bro, and you broke out during January 6th, made your way to Washington, D.C., and was part of the rioters, you might have had a chance. You might have had a chance, but you just got to wait for the next January 6th riot.
Maybe what? December 12th or
yeah. Wait for the next. If I was him, I would download Truth Social, Trump's own
Is
app.
it still open?
Of course, it's still up and running.
You gotta be. If you have that on your phone, I don't want to call no one gay, but
bro, they love him. That's their savior. If you download Truth Social and watch for the riots, wait for the next riot from them, and then go and join. That's your best way to get a pardon from Donald Trump. You're not finna just get a pardon. Right. And he look Hispanic. They trying to get rid of you. So it's not even gonna work, bro. It's not even gonna work.
And then where's the other one? The smart one?
What's his name? Gross Glover?
Yeah,
something like
Glover
that?
Or something.
Don't know. That man is still missing.
They say he out of the country.
Because we talked about last time, Illinois is not landlocked. You could get to the ocean. Louisiana. You could get to the ocean, bro. You could really jackpot to Mexico.
Mexico.
I'm telling you, go learn some Spanish.
My thing is just don't ever come back.
Yeah, of course. Now, for the TMZ news, we got to talk a little bit about Halle and Doodoo Garbage.
Stop. Whose team are you on?
See, that's a great way. I like the way you phrased it. Which team are you on?
You're either A or B.
I'm on the side of Halo, man. I'm Team Halo. I want what's best for the baby, bro.
So what's best for the baby?
Hey, you like a lawyer. What's best for the baby? It's for these two to get along and co-parent,
100%. No, that's right.
And this is the thing, right?
Stop procreating with bunch of bots, bro.
But this is the thing, right? I have never seen somebody get so much hate for wanting to be a father.
It's insane.
So many people are running from father, don't want to be like, what's his name? And I'm not going to put his name back into the mix of it, but I'm just like the basketball player. We all know
Anthony Edwards.
of course.
He's not
a lot of people a lot of people don't even want nothing to do with the kid. They don't even care about the kid. No. Anthony Edwards talking about, let me pay the 18 years up front. This man actually wants to be in this kid's life, and he's getting so much hate for it.
Bro, right? And it's all the social media, black people, bro. That's our problem.
Black people. That was a meme for a minute. Bro. Black people, bro. But like, and that's the thing. Black people eat this stuff
false
alive.
Information.
Oh yeah, they did.
Why? But why make false information about a black false man? Headline.
I saw DDG responding to that, and there was like they're making fake allegations. And that's the thing, right? Somebody needs to sue the Shade Room out the wazoo.
Bro, because black women.
a lot of these people who own these major like platforms that spread the BS, they never get any backlash. What's his name? Mr. Beast recently, well not recently, a while ago, he like built 100 wells in Africa or something like that. Yeah. This famous blog post reposted and said, oh, they made a whole video talking about, oh, Mr. Beast's 100 wells no longer functioning. Mr. Beast left the wells unmanaged or something like that. And then Mr. Beast retweeted them and was like, this is an actual lie. And then he asked the audience, what's the best way to respond to these people? Should I just sue the F out of them so they stop doing this? And he needs to.
He really
and then
needs to.
In the comments, those bloggers said, oh, allegedly, ha ha ha, with like laughing emoji. After you already kept the post up and the post is still up. After you already, bro, they need to be sued
like Shade Room,
like crazy.
A bunch of I don't understand.
The best way to knock those people down is this: like a Mr. Beast, a Kai Cenat, like these big names.
They've been on.
They need to come together and sue them at once.
Yeah.
If they come together and sue them at once,
defamation.
They're done, because they'll be so busy fighting lawyers that they won't be able. And this is what happens, right? When like a Samsung and Apple sue each other, they just keep funneling money into the lawsuits. By the end of the day, they don't know.
Paperwork.
Exactly.
So that
if the Mr. Beast of the world, the Kai Cenat, they come together and they sue these huge blogs one at a time, taking them down one at a time, they'll be so busy fighting these lawyer fees, right, that they won't even have time to be posting. They'll still be posting the dumb stuff, but they'll never post about you again. That's what they feel like.
I just feel like their main thing that gets the most love is whenever they're crapping on black men.
Of course. Well, any crapping on anybody.
Honestly,
that's
anybody.
The thing. Because the algorithm understands, especially Elon. Elon has like no handcuffs on X. The algorithm understands that hate and rage bait is what keeps the cash flowing. Cash flows when there's hate and rage bait. Look at what's his name, Charlemagne. Charlemagne's highlights are from when he was being a demon. Was when he was saying the most out-of-pocket, sniffing seats when people left, doing the most out-of-pocket random stuff, was when that man was the most viral, most famous. That's when it was the most famous.
Yeah.
The internet feeds off of hate. Positivity don't sell tickets. Positivity don't sell, clicks, headlines. You got to make crazy headlines to sell those things. So I'm just like, yo, they need to be held accountable. The only person I've really known has been held accountable is this lady who was saying back-to-back bad stuff and lies about Cardi B, that she sued her to this day, that even her funds from her payments are getting garnished to pay off. She sued her for like $5 million, and Cardi B won. And this lady don't got $5 million. So any money she makes goes to Cardi B. And she's still up posting.
She just did that the other day too with her ex-friend. And they saying every day her bill, like she owes like $1 million or $2 million every day.
You see
that she hasn't paid in full is $30 extra.
Yep. So that's the thing, right? You just gotta sue these people out the wazoo, and that's what it is. Bro. Not us, bro. Allegedly.
Don't sue me. Sue me for what? You ain't getting come up, bro. I'll go bankrupt before I give you a dime.
Oh my gosh, there's nothing we could even do. Honestly, there's nothing we could do about that. And what's it called? TikTok setting up groups.
Setting up groups for what?
TikTok setting up groups. What did I say? TikTok setting up groups for what?
All right, but let's talk about Apple. iOS 26.
Oh, iOS 26.
Doo-doo garbage. Apple. I'm a loyal customer.
The glass.
It's doo-doo. It's garbage.
It's just a different setup.
Apple, give us what we want. And this is the problem.
What do they
know
want?
what we want, but give it to us. Apple, y'all are paying, bro. At this point, let me be careful. Apple, I love your products, and I cannot wait to work for y'all one day because whoever is doing the design and whatnot has the easiest job in the world. Come up with ass inventions. No. Actually, it might actually be one of the hardest jobs in the world.
But you haven't even used it yet to know if it's gonna be garbage.
It's not what we want. It doesn't do nothing.
But you don't know what you want.
I know what I want. I know what I want. I just don't know what I want yet. Look, the only thing
Bro wants a hologram.
The only thing I like is you're finally fixing the doo-doo photo app. Now let's see if you guys actually fix it the right way.
Yeah.
Because the way you did it in the past, who? Let me just.
Yeah, it was a crazy setup.
The way you guys are changing messages, that actually kind of looks cool.
Oh, I like the abbreviations. Like it tells you a brief of what the person's talking about. I don't care for
that. They do that now.
Oh.
They do that. I could care less for that.
Yeah, Apple AI.
I just click on the dang thing.
Message.
Read the damn message. I ain't that dumb. I went to damn college or something. What else is good? Wallet, I guess. You can now send money you can send your Apple Wallet in a group chat so people can pay you. CarPlay seems like it's the biggest thing yet. When
CarPlay
is your biggest invention of the year, CarPlay and CarPlay Ultra.
And isn't that only for certain cars?
Y'all are ass.
Or is it for? The Ultra is for
the Ultra is only
certain cars.
Certain. You gotta.
That's crazy.
You gotta be real. Gotta have real nice money for that.
Yeah.
But like most of the features is CarPlay.
I don't know how.
Where's the new AirPods? Like when y'all came up with noise canceling.
I'm surprised they still never came up with the black AirPod. I thought that was gonna be a thing. I don't know if they ever do that.
Bruh.
They never changed the AirPod color.
Never.
I thought they were gonna give us more AirPod colors.
Bro, colors don't even matter because everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, give us better colors on the iPhone. Give us better."
No, yeah, that's true. Because you get a case anyway.
You put a damn case on it, bro. Bro, all I'm saying is Apple. As an Apple user, we don't know what we want, but this ain't it.
No,
but we know what we don't want, and this ain't it.
I feel like that's the thing about companies, and I feel like that's such a hard thing with being like the CTO, the technology advisor, all those things is that the executives are always asking for new innovation.
You're a freaking company. That's your job.
There's a point where you hit a wall. And your innovation is no longer exponential. It's like it's not even linear because linear is like this. It's flat. I don't know what the graph term for flat is. Yeah, flat. Like it's not going up or down.
But the problem is they're plateauing.
Yes, exactly. Plateauing.
Samsung is
actually innovating. But I think Apple is too afraid to try something too different, and they're too afraid to try something.
The same thing that happened to BlackBerry is gonna happen to Apple. Wow.
Woo!
No. Why?
Did you watch that BlackBerry documentary?
No.
There was a movie on it.
Because there's just no way you guys keep doing this year in and year out and think just because
if you guys plan to make the 17 a flip phone, like that fold phone,
you know what?
Done.
I'm a flip it.
It's actually done.
Samsung.
He will actually buy it though.
I'll go to Samsung before I buy an Apple flip. Actually, let me not say that.
No, you wouldn't.
I'll have it as my second phone. I'll have it as my second phone.
This is the thing. A second phone. This is the thing that Apple knows. See, this is why Apple doesn't have to innovate. Because of people like
we need to hurt them, bro. Let's hurt them like we did Target. Let's boycott Apple. No, let's do it. No. The way we did Target, let's actually do it, bro. Let's stop paying. Actually, they'll actually do a term. Nah, let's do it.
This is the thing, right?
Bro,
Apple doesn't need to innovate because they realize they got niggas in their pockets for life.
Not life.
For life.
Life.
Yes, for life.
Who?
Because, bro, I said, Hope, if they had Apple socks, would you buy it? He said yes. That's how they know they have.
I don't have socks on right now.
So don't put those crusty feet up there.
So obviously I wouldn't buy them.
Hope would buy anything Apple related, bro. That's how they know. They have diehards. They have so many diehard fans that anybody who's a switcher or wishy-washy person, it doesn't matter. They can go.
Okay, but what's the definition of insane? You keep doing the same thing wishing for a different result.
Yep, they're insanely successful.
I'm not insane.
That's why they're
insane. I cannot keep doing the same thing.
But you are, bro. And I can't switch to Samsung because I feel like Apple just has works exactly the
That's
ecosystem.
How they get you. You have the iPad, you have the MacBook,
and they all work together.
They all work seamlessly together.
Yep, and you have the Apple Watch. Apparently the strap be giving people cancer now, is what I heard.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's crazy.
Thank God I stopped wearing my Apple. I feel like just the Apple Watch itself, any watch, technological watch,
that's like on your skin for the whole day.
I feel like that alone can give you cancer. The thing you put the watch where you plug it in. I feel like that alone is gonna give you cancer.
I feel like that's the thing too. Like, I heard this dude that like. He was on a Joe Rogan podcast and he talks about how he has like no technologies in his bedroom. Like no TVs, no chargers, no nothing. Because he was talking about how like the waves or something can mess with your sleep or like the way that you operate and some. And I totally believe that. I feel like in the future we're going to get more studies on how like technology is really affecting our bodies.
In the future, bro, they saying brain rot. They saying brain rot is causing brains to shrink.
Really?
Yeah.
Skibbity toilet is causing brains to shrink?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I can see how
causing it to shrink.
I can see how
stupider.
I can see how people's attention span is decreasing because of the constant swiping and stuff like that. I can see how like your attention span is like people don't read books no more. No. Everything is audiobooks.
Remember the days?
I can't remember last time I sat down and said I'm gonna read a book.
I need to. But remember the days,
I'd rather listen to a book
where you had to look at your cable, see what time the show or movie was going
be there on time.
And be there on time. Yep. You missed 10 minutes. You gotta see when the next time is showing. It might be a week or two before it's even that specific episode is showing again. Nowadays,
everything's at their fingertips.
Episode 6.
Now you can binge. Now you can binge though. Bro, you can binge watch.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So. I feel like that's the thing where people. I was talking to my homie and I was like, you have no excuse. Like our generation has no excuse to be successful because our generation has more access to information than any other generation has had before.
In the previous podcast with the same thing, bro.
I mean, by the grace of God and stuff.
Increased knowledge does not increase money.
That's true.
It's like it's more people know, the more you know that you don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's knowledge fatigue or whatever they call it.
You hit on something right there. Knowledge fatigue is a thing because you scroll and you learn all these new stuff. Nothing is sticking. Nothing is. There's actually
you just know random facts.
Yes, that don't matter, and they're taking up the RAM in your space, in your brain. Your memory storage is going away, bro. Because now you're filling it with skibbity toilet and all these TikTok dances.
Now the only way I see it is you have a cloud for your brain. That's the only way. That's
bro, they finna download that. Yes.
Hey, bro, download every
Neuralink already on it.
Every brain rot session, just set it to the cloud.
Bro, there's already literally a Black Mirror stuff on that. But imagine if you could download your trauma. If you could hook up, and delete it. You could literally take your trauma and download it and put it somewhere else. So now, instead of you waking up at night from PTSD and stuff, it's gone.
Damn.
It's gone. There's something that's even called body trauma. That you might not have experienced it or remember it, but your body does. So the next time you're in a place, you just you feel like get goosebumps or something. You don't know why. From that body trauma. But I feel like that would be an insane invention. I thought people would actually do that. Download your trauma.
It would just lead to weak humans.
It would lead to a lot of fake humans. It lead to a lot of fake humans
because of the trauma you've been.
Yep.
But that's neither here nor there. You can't run away from it. So.
You can't. You just gotta embrace it. Yeah. Man, thank you so much for listening to another episode of A Whole Lot of Podcasts. We love you. We appreciate you. This has been your host, Ebenezer Ojo.
Hope Adebayo.
See you next time. Peace.